this is actually still relating to Agent Smith in a way, but no, it's not about the Matrix movie. It's just based off of one thing that Agent Smith said in the first Matrix movie. Do you remember when Agent Smith said that the Matrix created the simulation of the year 1999 because it believed it was the peak of human civilization? Well, so my question in this video is, was Agent Smith correct that the year 1999 was the peak of human civilization? So I had a conversation with my grandfather about this, finding ourselves actually agreeing with Smith to an extent. So I'll tell you why. How like so what am I seeing here? So I talk about in our time today how our language has been corrupted, how our language has been kind of dulled, mollified, and I reference a book that was called, and it's an old book from like 1957, 54. It was called The Tyranny of Words, right? And The Tyranny of Words explains modern life. Well, it was made in the 50s, but I'm saying I think it still correlates to what's happening now. So it explains why modern life feels so creatively bankrupt because of the corporatized, Wall Street-ized, government-censored, restrictive language that has infected our collective psyche. I go on to say, so this language killer has thus contributed to the lull and dullification of modern life's lack of culture, creativity, love, and overall padlock on imagination. One example. Example one. Photography, pre-smartphone. So, from old-fashioned film to digital to smartphone, has photography and preserving memories become a trite exercise due to the now easy and almost unlimited nature of current smartphones and large storage capacities? When before photo taking was limited due to physical film or small digital space. Has photography turned into Resident Evil games with infinite ammo, sapping the life out of memory preservation itself? Example number two, physical media. Having been a modern digital gamer, at least in terms of PC gaming for the most part, I also have been using Steam since 2015, and also I use a lot of digital stuff on my Switch, my PlayStation, my Xbox. I got a lot of digital games, only to eventually stumble upon a GOG in 2018 when reading a game magazine talking about GOG preserving old games like Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Ever since discovering GOG on my computer and learning about DRM, I've made it an imperative to buy only from GOG if possible for the last like 7 years. So when I do decide to buy a game on PC, I make sure I buy it on GOG. Now, I know GOG is not perfect, but with Steam's DRM, you're stuck with Steam. At least with GOG, you could play the game, like just download the game from the offline installer and just play it straight up like you own the actual game. Like it's like basically just taking the disc and digitizing it, and it's yours. It's yours no matter what. I that's what I love about GOG. That's very important to me. So anyway, with only a few actual PC physical games in my room, something in me recently yearned for the days of yore. Even GOG could not satisfy this urge. While on eBay, I found and bought a Windows 7 Samsung with a NVIDIA 310M graphics card for $90 on eBay. It looks great and plays old digital games well, and even came with games like my favorite Half-Life 1. And the Half-Life 1 that came with it is not hooked on to Steam, so I was extra happy about that. But when I started the laptop, I was greeted with the classic Windows 7 sound and the mouse sounds. I suppose nostalgia took me over, like a fever dream. I realized it had working CD drive. It had a working CD drive as well. So I tested my copy of Giant Citizen Kabuto, and I was like ecstatic to the sound of the CD drive opening, and then installing and clicking with the hum of it installing. You know, you put the disc in, beep, and then it's like the disc slowly like I was like, oh man, I miss this sound. I miss it. Never in my life did I think such archaic sounds would give me a form of sensory pleasure. From this, I browsed eBay for all sorts of old school physical PC media, big boxes and all. It tops the clean, efficient atmosphere of Steam and GOG any day. The boxes and art alone create a sensory portal to a different time dimension itself. Right? I was just doing my Harry Potter video before. I mean, like, just look at the first Harry Potter game again, right? Like, just looking at it, and the back of it, it's like a time capsule in itself. Like this set of Harry Potter games that are a glorious sight to behold, as I said before. All of it, even The Sims, I'm being sucked into. And don't worry, I'll show you guys how I set up my collection of old ass cheap PC games. Those cheap pieces of shit look real nice. So, like, I'm being sucked back into the early 2000s, and it feels really good, actually. Alright, so example number 3, movies and TV shows. Now, this is purely subjective and may even be controversial, but even movies and TV now lack soul of even some of the corniest media of the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, look at the cartoons of just my 2000s childhood compared to the corporate agenda driven slop of today, with very few exceptions. Very few. And I'm not talking about anime, which has consistently stayed clean of modern day lullification mostly. No, American cartoons from Nick Cartoon, Adult Swim had a superior era in the early 2000s and 2010s. Well, 2010 I say is when it ended. Roughly, and I believe died with Adventure Time being the start of lame, unoffending, soft cartoon garbage. I might even argue I did used to like Chowder, but maybe Chowder was kind of the start of that. I don't know. I might be wrong because I did like Chowder, but that kind of unoffending cartoon style was a little bit with Chowder, but at least it had some funny characters in that, you know. All right, so now subsection about the TV shows. I'm not a fan, but I have to give props to shows like Friends, Seinfeld, Simpsons, and I'm giving them credit because how long they lasted. Family Guy was great until, I say here 2010, but it probably was earlier than that. I used to be obsessed with Family Guy when I was a kid because I thought I'm so, wow, look at me, I'm a kid watching Family Guy, wow, I'm so edgy, you know. So, and South Park was the exceptional TV show that I stayed with until at least, I said 2019 here. It might have actually been 2018. Which season of South Park was it when Cartman got a girlfriend? That season was where it lost me. It kind of was not that funny anymore. It was kind of dumb. One of my favorite live TV shows to this day is Frasier, and is a direct love letter from the 90s, while also transitioning beautifully to the early 2000s. Lastly, but most importantly, let's talk about The Sopranos. Now answer me this. If The Sopranos didn't exist until, say, 2010, or if it didn't come out until 2015, or even right now in 2025, would The Sopranos be the same timeless masterpiece it is now? I say no. I say it also is a byproduct, a gift from the 90s, and also helped shape the 2000s in a big way, media-wise, TV-wise. A lot of shows like Breaking Bad to even Walking Dead and anything else would not have existed without the success of Sopranos further legitimizing TV. Furthermore, Sopranos serves as a time capsule and illustration of American life both pre 9/11 and also pre social media, most importantly. An absolute capture of time with little, if any, transitional interference of technology or current day mental restraints and mental insanities. Retaining one of the best and freest scripts ever to be put on screen. And now, even though we have had great shows like Breaking Bad, which can be argued to be an offshoot or last hurrah of the early 2000s, even though it came out in 2009, uh, and media like The Walking Dead in 2010, there hasn't really been a Sopranos level TV show. And for me, there hasn't been a Frasier level live TV show worth any salt that can last practically 11 seasons. Frasier lasted 11 seasons, and it's all great. I rewatch that show still every day. Like, I love that show. Live funny TV shows had a long lifespan, but now they don't have healthy lifespans and die. And the shows that do, they're not good shows. From shows like The Last OG, only lasting like 3 years, and now I see that same guy is making another show now. Frasier reboot, which came out in like what, 2021, 22, that only lasted a mere 2 seasons. Also, an underrated gem that was killed before it could really get good was Boss, 2014, with Kelsey Grammer as well. The only show that had some durability but had more shaky episodes than good was The Godfather of Harlem with what's that actor's name again? I forgot his name. It's a decent show, but it had more bad episodes than good episodes, and the last seasons of Godfather of Harlem was just bad. Oh, Forrest Whitaker. I'm sorry, Forrest Whitaker. So Forrest Whitaker, which got really good by season 2, only to get interrupted in 2020, which completely ruined the original beat and rhythm the show was on. It was on a good path until 2020 fucked that all up. Sure, we had Netflix's OG Daredevil, which still remains one of the best live-action superhero TV shows ever conjured, and sadly, nothing seems to have beaten it to this very day, in my opinion. And no, sorry, The Punisher, while John Bernthal is a perfect cast option, the show itself, the Punisher spinoff, sucked. I don't care what you guys say. The Punisher with John Bernthal sucked. It should have been so much better compared to Daredevil. And John Bernthal was great in the Daredevil show. But the Punisher show itself was awful, in my opinion. So Daredevil truly was the one in a million to somehow come out of the 2015 era with the true peak of modernity and social media spread in all crevices of life. Okay, so example number 4. Movies ruined by streaming. Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. Before Netflix, or now Roku, which I also use, what made going to a video rental store so special? And is this objective or purely nostalgia? Well, to be as objective as possible, of course streaming is superior in terms of access and unlimited, seemingly, options. Also, the lack of material waste and now reliance on digital, even though streaming does use a good amount of energy. HD 4K with the trade-off of low bit rates compared to high quality bit rates and audio of Blu-ray 4K disc, lower monthly cost. Those are many of the positive attributes of streaming, and we can go on, of course. Nonetheless, what did rental stores have to offer that streaming does not? Well, for one, more jobs for people to work and own these stores. Also, another avenue to socialize and shop in a non-food environment. Now people buy most non-food items online, including me, and just go out food shopping and work mostly. So Blockbuster, and my favorite was Hollywood Video at the time, were great places to browse through physical media, a library of movies, TV, with occasional stuff to buy to own. The environment smelled of fresh carpet, dried popcorn, and always a nice cool temperature. There was always people from kids, teens, adults of various ages. Of course, this died down as streaming slowly took over, and also Redbox came in the battlefield. The biggest blow to the physical media had to be when Netflix came to video game consoles like the Xbox 360, PS3, and even the Wii had it, I think. I don't know. This definitely took over a majority of young people at the time. We as a people lost another non-work, non-food activity that gave us a reason to further interact with life. Though, of course, not a necessity of survival or the biggest blow, but of course, each little bit counts over time, and bit by bit, our physical, and I didn't finish the notes here, but I was saying bit by bit, each physical interaction of life we slowly lose, and everything is becoming digitized. And the last bit of physical interaction is going to doctors, going to retail, going to work, but all the fun stuff is becoming totally digitized, unless like you keep your physical stuff. But it was nice to have an excuse to go out and see other people renting stuff, buying stuff. And you could say, oh, but there's still GameStop. It's not the same. Going to GameStop is not the same experience as it was like 10 years ago. It just isn't. People aren't really going there to buy games as much anymore. It's mostly like trading cards now, the weird little toy things where there's Funko Pops. I never got into that. I like the shirts that they sell at GameStop. I get my shirts there sometimes when they're on sale. But yeah, like it's just not the same experience as it used to be. So yeah, guys, that's the end of my notes here. Let me know what you think.